Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do it first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over the world via YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And we're going to have a great Monday for you. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Let me shout out to Todd Holmes, Rod Wells, Otha Brown, T.R. Holmes, and Corey Willis. They were the first five people who signed up and tuned into the show this morning via both YouTube and Facebook. But Jimmy, let me tell you something. Sorry, I was sorry to see The Last Dance conclude last night, man. Exceptional storytelling, exactly when we needed it. Thanks to everybody, ESPN, thanks to Michael Jordan and those great Bulls teams, and to all the fans who've taken this journey with us. Class. It's just. It was just unbelievable, Jimmy, that what was going on. That just make me think about. It's just talking to Barack Obama, listening to him, and things like that, and we had a great weekend of young people being celebrated because they wasn't able to have their normal graduation. So LeBron did a special graduation for his promise school, and Barack did a special presentation for the nation, all the graduates, wherever you graduate from 8th grade, whatever. So it was just a great weekend. NASCAR started back. They had some more things. Wait a minute. They had a live golf match. I enjoyed watching a golf match with Ricky Fowler and Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy and I think Matt Wolff, I think David Wolff, and unique, man, just to see the guys. And Jimmy, they were carrying their own bags. But I know Jimmy, and we got some great guests coming in today. That's a whole nother part of this equation. Jimmy, first of all, I just really like to tell you you've done it again. I mean, I see what you got this puzzle that you're trying to put together, and you're weaving each fabric of our community into this big puzzle that we have, so we can paint a better picture for the people out there. Now you turn around. You've had the coaches who won the state championship, boys basketball state championships on the show. You've had the sneaker teams, the sneaker sponsored team. You had some of their on Thursday. You had some of their executives on the air. Now you're going in a different route, and maybe you can explain that you got the event owners or facilitators, the people who open the doors. You want to make sure how safe they are, because I got a list, Jimmy. I did the Jimmy today.
What you got there?
Of things about reopening May 9th. I got the whole thing from the Chronicle. I printed it out. It's a lot of pages. So it's unique that like I said, you're bringing the whole. A shout out to you for bringing this whole thing together, and we got more, but I'm watching you weave. You're weaving this fabric and going to turn it into a beautiful canvas at some point, and then people will understand it later. So what you got going on?
I mean, on today's show, we I saw and I've heard a lot of the whispers from all different angles of the room, and one of them was about the event directors, right? So why would the event director, why you guys are holding so, and I've long ago, and I said somebody's going to be the first and somebody's going to be the last. But at the same time, a lot of event directors are limited to the facilities that they can occupy with their events. You see? So that means the squeeze, of course, there's no public schools that will be allowing any third party into their facilities in the near future. Right? So that means that depending on the city that you live in, now people get to understand. We talk about cities like Dallas, the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth. You see Greater Houston. You see even San Antonio, Austin. They have a facility, a third-party facility. But then cities, Dallas and DFW and Greater Houston has multiple facilities with 4 or more courts. So now you get to see how valuable. A lot of times people get spoiled to not understand the luxuries that's provided in your facility. Well, a lot of the event operators have little choice but to either find a private or privately owned or facility to occupy, or they have to keep pushing their events back. Now, the thing is, what's happening is, or what you possibly face, is a lot of the facilities, if there are a surplus of events and not enough courts or space or facilities to occupy, then that creates an inflationary status, that is. So that means now we're going to talk with 4 different facility owners or directors. And they will all share what you should expect or what you will expect upon entering the next time you enter their facility. They're going to explain to you guys when they're opening, when is the next event, so that you guys will know. And one of them will be hosting an event this weekend. Wait to hear the details on that one. And of course, I have a list of rules from one of them, and I'm quite sure that every one of those places have things in place. And I've been talking with a lot of the local council members of mayors' offices and whatnot to get details. But it's going to be a hell of a conversation. And because a lot of us want to know. And then it goes, and we got, so a lot of your questions, we're going to start this conversation at the top of the hour. And, guess what? If I'd known that that this many of you guys would have been enthused. I see Rodney Wynn, who's an event director in Houston, runs events almost every other weekend. Guys like him, Brian Jolivet is on, runs various events. Glenn Smith, even though he's not in Houston, but you could take a lot of this stuff that's said, the logic will apply no matter where you are. Trust me, it will apply. And so that's the thing to think about as we go into the conversation. Once again, we're going to start at the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, we will have all four of the gentlemen on at the same time. And that way now, this is not like last week when you have one would speak and then the other. We're going to create a panel with them. And you, which you guys are able to not only hear them talk, but you also be able to present your question to them as well. And they will be able to, we will toss many of your questions to them. So what I strongly encourage you to do is creeping into the top of the hour. Meanwhile, if there are some things we can go and have like a prelude to the conversation by simply going and entertaining some of the thoughts that you guys may have right now on the Boomer Room, and just let them simmer or just hold tight. Meanwhile, first, and we will get to those, but let's just wait. Just let them simmer, because otherwise you won't forget. I see Daryl Barnes. You jumped out there with the first question on the topic. Keep that same question, copy and paste it, present it to us at the top of the hour, because that's a good one. And it is, y'all rushing to have these games, and the number of cases and deaths continue to rise. You'll be putting kids at risk. Well, hold it, put it in your pocket, put that back out there at the top of the hour. But once again, trust me, these guys are coming on here, and this is to inform the community, and have in that way now whatever they say. Remember, you can go and transfer it. You go back and watch the show. You can share it with somebody else that needs to understand. We're here to help provide the platform so that they can provide the level or degree of understanding that's needed for you to make whatever decision that you make to do, whether it be to let your son play, to let you go and join a team, to go and visit the facilities as a spectator, all of that. So just hang tight, top of the hour, we're going to have 4 gentlemen is going to join us, representing 4 facilities around the greater Houston, and that will be Fallbrook, Harvest Time, MI3, and the gym. And so that's going to be a hell of a conversation. And meanwhile, as you just alluded to, the Last Dance concluded last night, and in fashion, and it's one of those things where, of course, you didn't want it to end. You want to see 10 more episodes if you could, but at the same time, I think the point that they were trying to get through, they did a great job of putting it out there. It's based on the time constraints. Remember now, episodes 9 and 10 was only concluded in the last couple of weeks when the director concluded this stuff. So that means that these were rush jobs for these last 2 episodes, because initially their time window, was to put this out and release this in June. Howard, what's your thoughts from the Last Dance?
It's so unique, Jimmy. I was just thinking about. I was watching Andrea Kramer. See, you got to understand, this is an era that I lived in, an era. Some of those games I was at. Jimmy, I'll never forget the game that he pushed off on Byron Russell. Jimmy, I was at the Utah airport because I was flying Delta that day, and Delta, I was leaving LA, coming back home. I was, and that was my stop to go to Utah before I came to Houston. I'll never forget it. I'm in the Utah airport. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Utah airport, but I was the only person looked like me in that airport. And that man hit that shot, and I was sitting there watching on the screen. It's be safe to say I didn't leave my area where my where my seat was near the plane for the plane. I'll never forget that. It was a very, very, very a different experience. But Andre Kramer says something. She stated that you almost had to appreciate Michael Jordan's celebrity even more because he didn't have these platforms that these guys have now. You know, to be known worldwide. He didn't have the Twitter. He didn't have there was no ability to promote yourself back then through social media. No video posts, no tweets, nothing like that, Jimmy. He was known for his play and having a larger than life persona. And that's what got me. I sit there and just watched it over and over. And no social media. And this guy, and then David Stern said, Barack said something. He said, describing Michael Jordan as the largest cultural force that has a momentum that is perpetual and relentless in its demeanor. So, I mean, and David Stern put this whole thing in perspective for me. He said, during that era of Michael Jordan, the NBA was in 80 countries, Jimmy. And after that era ended, they were in 215 countries, Jimmy. Michael Jordan, the day he left, when he left in 1998, and he didn't play for them couple of years, the NBA ratings dropped, Jimmy, 50%. That's how powerful. That's what, if you notice, I never get into that GOAT debate and all that kind of stuff. I just want y'all to know the impact that this gentleman had on this game. Young people just they don't know. They just see LeBron, they see Kobe, they see Cup. But the impact, look at those numbers. Jimmy, you're a numbers guy. 80 countries, 215 countries. Dude, he had an impact, dude. So that's my biggest takeaway, man. You know, I saw a whole lot of stuff in there, you know, that brought me back. But I never thought about, see, when you living through this thing, you never think history being made. That's why it was so significant, Jimmy. You remember I put on the screen one day about that one year that Penny had passed Michael Jordan in popularity in 1996 amongst teens. It's called a Q rating, Jimmy. The Q rating, they rate the teens and who the popular athlete. The event of Lil Penny made him more popular. That was in USA Today and the money pages, in the money section. So when I think about the magnitude and what this guy done for this league, and guess what? And how many jobs and how many careers people made by being around this guy. Like what's your boy David Windhurst? How Michael Jordan took him up. Sam Smith got famous off Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan didn't like him. Jimmy, Sports Illustrated magazine, Michael been on there 50 times. 50 times, more than any other athlete. And he wouldn't give them an interview no more because they dogged him out when he went play baseball. And Jimmy, I want to talk to you. You as a baseball player. Jimmy, the man had a 13-game hitting streak in AA. I know you can attest to that because you probably had, how many, you know how hard it is. I'm going to put it like this. You know how hard it is. Jimmy, amazing athlete, amazing story. And I hear people talking about, we need to do one on so-and-so. We need to do, dude, these documentaries, we need to do one on Bill Russell. What made Michael so compelling? He had this story. You got to have a compelling story to spend all this time in this energy and have this many people watch. So that was my take. I got a million takes from it, but that was one of my takes. What do you thought about it? What you thought?
I mean, I guess I love the documentary. It filled a good void that many of us in the sports community had based as a result of COVID-19. But I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna plead to everyone to not allow yourself to put it like this. I'm gonna plead to everyone to try your best to remove whatever button that may exist inside of you that will cause many people to get in I guess aggregated debates about Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I just hate to see to whereas every time there's an episode of Last Dance, then somebody has to go and you allow yourself to get sucked into this stuff about the LeBron James. Here's the way I look at it. Michael Jordan may very well be the best movie that we've ever seen, that some of us have ever seen in our lives. LeBron James, this is a movie that has yet to end. Movie been pretty good. We can't deny them. This movie with LeBron James been pretty good, but to go and compare the movie that we've already seen, we know that this is the best, and automatically discount the other one before, while there's still years to go. There's still footage left in this movie. There's still time to occupy in LeBron James movie. Once the plane lands, once his career is over, then do what you want.
20 years. 20 years after.
I'm saying whenever you want. Just not, I mean, it ain't even, think about what we're doing. We're comparing the final stats and the final whatever that you remember, grand memories of Michael Jordan with something that's yet to be done. Who knows what could be done, what LeBron can do against Kawhi Leonard in the Western Conference playoffs, or against to win the championship, or in his quest to win or to fail to win. It'll be, trust me. Then I think it'll be much more fun. It'll be much more plausible, and it'll be much healthier than getting into crazy debates.
I don't do that
over this stuff.
You notice
crazy debates.
You notice we don't do that on this show about that particular topic. You know what's so unique, Jimmy? And I want to give a shout out to, because I know people might not understand. Because I'm just going back. Now, y'all got to realize, when I go watch it, I want to give a shout out to Phil Knight. And the reason I want to give a shout out to him, because I found out it wasn't popular back then, okay? When he made this young black man the face of his empire and his shoe company. Let me repeat this, young people out there. Because I know y'all, Jimmy, we got this recency bias. What didn't happen recent? Let me tell you something. Hey, Naisha, back then, it was not popular for a fledgling company. This was a new company, Jimmy. He took a hell of a risk on having a young black man be the spokesman for his company. That was not happening back there, Latrice. See, we coming now. We got LeBron and we got all these. This wasn't happening. Michael didn't even want to go with the company, Jimmy. And Jimmy, you can interject anytime. I'm just telling you, think about the magnitude. Phil Knight said, okay, I got $250,000, but I'm going to put $1 million behind your marketing. Other shoe companies, Spot Built, offered more. And the daddy said, look here, boy.
What happened back at that time, once again, Nike was not the conglomerate as far as
Jimmy,
market
I said
cap.
that. I just said a startup, a fledgling company.
But he was not the only one during that era that a sneaker basically made them the face of their brand. Akeem Olajuwon had E-Tonic. E-Tonic they didn't have no whole bunch of money, but E-Tonic put all their resources in marketing.
I'm not
Now,
familiar with that one because I never saw too much E-Tonic marketing
yeah,
back then.
he was their guy.
I just never seen too much.
I haven't seen E-Tonic since then, but yeah, E-Tonic was Elijah Warren had a deal, and they basically made
How did that work out for them?
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
No. I just got a question. How did it work out for them?
Big men don't sell the sneakers to the magnitude of big. But at the time, you did not know because there was no measuring sticks of it. Because remember, we only a few years removed from Magic Johnson and Larry Bird with the Converse deals. So they were big, but they were considered big men because they were 6'9".
I want to see
6'8",
I want to see what E-Tonic put $1 million behind their thing to promote a guy from Nigeria. I just want to see the receipts on it.
The dollar value that Nike may have had behind Michael Jordan may be similar, maybe greater than what E-Tonic put up under Elijah Warren, but based on the market cap of the company at the time, it may be a similar percentage of their budget. That's what I'm just saying. They did the similar thing, what they had to work with, and right up under Elijah Warren. I mean, it's just that like I said, at this point, you learned a lot about Michael Jordan. A lot of people, this gave a lot of young people an opportunity who've never seen him play to do so, which is a great thing because a lot of young people, I see Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks superstar, all-star, he went on social media and was like, wow, I didn't know, and he confessed to being fond of the MJ because all you get to see is a clip here and there. And a lot of people, a lot of the guys in the older heads, like us, like ourselves, it gave us blast to the past, and we remember a lot of those moments on the court related to Michael Jordan. A lot of the stuff off the court, people became privy to. Now, one of the things I'm confused about, I didn't go get my shovel, and but I'm just saying that I'm confused. Back in one of the earlier episodes, the Dennis Rodman episode, right? Dennis Rodman will end up getting a reality show out of this thing or something soon. He gonna get, a documentary him damn himself. But remember when MJ went and got Rodman, right? I heard one story. He went to Vegas.
He didn't go to Vegas. And
I heard one story saying, of course, he went right across down the street to the hotel. The hotel was right across.
He got an apartment right across from the United Center.
So and that's the thing. Now, could it have been possible that both occurred? Could it have been possible that he went and got him?
No, he couldn't go to both places.
He had to come back to Chicago.
But see, Michael, that would have been more documented. If Michael Jordan go to Vegas, believe you me, that's a hell of a compelling story. But when they found out, when the guy talked to Michael, Jason, you got to look at, see, when you go, do me a favor, go back and look at the commentaries from the director. Because he interviewed 106 people. And guess what? None of those 106 people got paid to be interviewed. Jimmy, I don't know if you knew that or not. 106 people got interviewed. No one got paid for an interview. Michael Jordan is set to make $3 to $4 million off of this, and he is gonna give that to charity. Okay, he don't want no. He's gonna give it to a charity. So because a lot of people don't understand that, but it's a unique story. But me talking to the people that I know, he went and got him from across the street with the trainer. It's a lot of stuff could have happened. What about the piece that's supposed to be the flu game? We all this time thinking, Michael played with the flu. Now we found out it was a food poisoning game. But that's kind of weird, Jimmy, because I don't know. But Jimmy, I got something to tell y'all. I don't know if y'all knew this. Did y'all notice in the video, Michael said, did nobody eat the pizza but me? Did you hear when he said that? Right?
He said that.
So guess what, Jimmy? Guess what I found out? I did a little more digging. This is what was reported. The pizza people, they couldn't, everybody else had eaten already. Okay? Michael didn't eat. So everybody else had eaten. Tim Grover and whoever else was in his place. So he was mad at them. So when the pizza came, Michael spit on the pizza. Okay? They said Michael do that all the time to keep getting people stuff. Spit on the pizza. So when nobody, I know some Michael Vick used to do that kind of stuff. Spit on the pizza. That's selfish. So when nobody eat it. So they said that's why. They said 5 guys from the pizza place came up to deliver one pizza. They should have knew something was wrong then. Because they talking about that they spiked the pizza and put something in his pizza. Being in Utah, they were in Utah. Utah really closes down. I don't know if you ever been to Utah, Jimmy. But Jimmy, I like to take
Unfortunately, I've been there.
No, I had the greatest time in the
Salt
world.
Lake City. It looks pretty when you're flying up in there. It's something inside of it. Kind of reminds you of Chattanooga. When you're flying to Chattanooga, it's kind of circled in.
Yeah, Jimmy, you know what? So you can, and I'm going to always have an affinity for this place. That's the first place I ever learned how to ski. I went to the Black Ski Summit. It was at Park City, Utah. Greatest time I've ever had. Had a chance to come over and watch a game. If you're a basketball fan, go and watch a game inside of that place. It's unbelievable. You got the fans, the crazy Sacramento and those fans. But Utah, they ain't got nothing else to do but holler. But I didn't want to get us off. But Jimmy, it's just a lot of stories about Michael Jordan just coming out in this thing, man. It used to be the flu game. We used to brag, man. Michael Jordan played through the flu. Food poisoning. So I thought that was unique. I thought that was very unique. What else you got?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things. Another thing that you guys may have pulled from that I saw. I pulled from it was the media. This is a hell of a undercurrent for a lot of people. If you're out here, so you understand the politics, and we try to deny it right now. This is back in the 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. Ahmad Rashad had a hell of a run. Ahmad Rashad was our Stephen A. Smith without the analytics that went into it. He was a guy, meaning that if there was news to be broke about NBA basketball back during that time, Ahmad Rashad was the guy that got it. And didn't nobody dispute it. You know why they didn't dispute it? Because they were people inside the loop knew where his fingerprints were. They knew how powerful he was. He was the most powerful journalist or broadcaster in basketball. Ahmad Rashad, for a lot of you young people that are watching, he played pro football.
I think his name back then it was Bobby Moore, something like that. He had another name. He changed his name, Jimmy. He had another name. If y'all go look it up.
Always through Ahmad Rashad back with the Vikings.
He had another name, Bobby Moore. Something, y'all. I might be wrong, but he got another. Somebody pull it up. I know Rick Wilmore, a line of guard, gonna pull it up for me. But go on, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
And understand. My angle that I'm getting to you is, what did you guys see even in episodes 9 and 10? Ahmad Rashad may have had more appearances throughout the entire documentary than any other non-player. He appeared more than the director. And the director had a couple of cuts in there. Any more than maybe not Phil Jackson. Let's say non-Bulls team member. He, without question, he had more cameos in this clip. Here's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Ahmad Rashad was the person in the media that formed a relationship with Michael Jordan, just as Michael Jordan did with his tops of security. As you guys see how that relationship was formed. We have and I'll explain to you about the security part in just a second, but I got something to spin off from that.
Okay.
But Ahmad, in his tenure, what made him last was that he would often plant the narrative. Whatever MJ wanted his narrative to be, Ahmad Rashad was on the front line because he worked for NBC back at the time. And remember, that was during that time, the worldwide leader had, of course, ESPN was ESPN, but
It
you
wasn't
know,
where it was. It wasn't. Yeah.
it was
And Jimmy,
becoming. They were in a
Jimmy,
trust.
hold up. Don't forget inside NBA stuff too. Now, don't forget
That's
that.
NBC. That's where
Okay.
Mara Shaw had his own show.
Mhm.
Him and a young lady. And so as I said, he was it. But what my point is, if there was, just say the flu game, Amar Rashad was on the front line of that flu theory narrative. Amar Rashad. So that means the guys heard it from Amar Rashad and then they'll run with it. But Amar and the media, you're not going to give your guys necessarily no bad dope. You're giving them the narrative, which it just was a little twist because guess what? His stomach was hurting. He was throwing up.
Jimmy, it was flu-like symptoms.
Stomach hurting, throwing up. You did, yeah. So that was the construction that they concocted in that story.
Yeah.
And that's just one of many where he has tonight. Look, my point is, if you notice certain people who in today's society that you can think of that has a media personality as their protector on their side.
Kevin Durant got your homeboy Jason Williams now. Kevin Durant got Jason Williams whining every time somebody says something about him.
Okay, so all you do is pay attention. Mm-hmm. If you didn't notice that, for those of you who didn't notice, the Jason Williams, the former Duke guard, and his protection of Kevin Durant, just watch when the conversation comes. Just watch. You guys will see it. It's right there, sometimes right in your face. And you'll see LeBron James has a Kendrick Perkins. Just as one. Russell Westbrook has a Kendrick Perkins. Even though Perkins is still, he's not the same man, but still he works for the establishment.
Okay, I got you. But okay. But Ahmad Rashad, I'm gonna show you what I'm just gonna. You got to explain this to me. He was with Michael all the time. Kendrick is not with these guys all the time. Jason Williams, the reason I mentioned him, he's on the boardroom with this guy. He's the host of the boardroom with this guy. So he spent a lot of time with Kevin Durant. He got other interests. Bring the parallel to, and hold up. Kendrick might have these. I haven't connected the dots with Kendrick, with Russell, and connected the dot with Kendrick and LeBron. I know they know each other, but like David Windhurst, dude, this dude is a best-selling author now. This dude got podcasts. He got everything because there's an affiliation with LeBron James. That's the one that's benefiting from LeBron James. Go back. Stephen A. Smith. He started flexing his muscles, what? When he had Allen Iverson, Philadelphia Inquirer. Him and Allen, that's when he became the man. So I love to see something like that. And I'm going to tell you, going to be an up-and-coming guy out here, Jimmy. Gosh, his name just slipped off on the West Coast. He does, you should know his name. He does the Golden State Warriors a lot. Haynes. He went to Yahoo. I forgot his name. I'm thinking his name. Mike.
I can't think of the name.
Yeah, but he is going to be, because he gets some inside stuff. And I know this guy too. I follow him on. But I just, it's unique how these stars, how these people benefit. And I don't know, I'm a credit watcher. So this is what I want y'all to, Jimmy, I'm going to give y'all some homework tonight. Okay? I like to watch the credits. When the show goes off, I watch the credits. Okay? I'm a credit watcher. I like to see names. I like to see the names. I've been doing that for years. Because I want to see the names of the people who behind the scenes. A lot of people be in front of the scenes. I try to look because, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's opportunities behind the scenes also, young people, and if your kids listening. Jimmy, Jason here, director. The next one, Mike Tolan, who works for Mandalay Bay Productions, and joint with ESPN. He was the top. He was the top. They had a name called Curtis Polk. Does that name ring a bell to you, Jimmy?
Yeah, you told us about it on Thursday.
Okay. Estee Portnoy. Those were the three top people, top billing right behind the director. Then, Jimmy, I went down a little bit more. Peter Gruber, the guy who actually one of the principal owners of the Golden State Warriors. Hey, y'all, do me a favor. Just go back and study. Let me tell you something I learned. And y'all can go look it up. Curtis Polk and Estee Portnoy. They said Michael Jordan don't go to the restroom without talking to these two right here. Curtis Polk used to work for David Funk, and Estee Portnoy. Go do me a favor, look up those two people, and those are the people who whisper in Michael Jordan's ear. And I just wanted y'all to go take a look at. And then I want y'all to take a look. Hey, and both of them happen to be not African American.
And I got a couple of more that just came to mind.
Come on, Jim.
And I hit this thing home in regard to, when I hit it home, just bringing it to your conscious awareness. And that is, and I'll talk about, think about certain media guys. And then you'll understand why certain people will defend. That means they're protecting certain of their assets. That means if you have a sports figure or a coach that you have a direct line of communication with, that, in other words, you don't have to go to the press conference to get your news or to get your scoop. The vast majority have to wait to an appropriate time to hold court with their contingent of their fraternity of media reporters to get to ask their questions. Those who have that direct pipeline don't have to do that. See that? So understand, for example, Jay Billis and Duke basketball, Coach K. Think about the connection. Jay Billis played for Coach K. So that means if Jay Billis is going to know what's going on, is supposed to know what's going on, as long as he's still on the good side of Coach K. Dick Vitale with the ACC, with the North Carolina. Think about it, and with most Italian coaches.
Rick Pitino is dude. He gonna take up for him.
Well, I just said Jim Balbino before he passed away. Think about the relationship so you understand why do we always, Dick Vitale's always, rooting for these guys. Louis Canaseca back in the days. Rolly Massimino back in the day. So understand the connection, but it's okay. You see, they get a pass and people act like they don't understand. Ahmad Rashad was at the time, when I understand, was one of the most despised media guys in basketball because he obtained the answers to the quiz before test day. He already had all the answers. And when you have, he who has the information is the most important person in the room. That's the thing. And of course, you mentioned Corey Willis mentioned Quinn Buckner. Yeah, Quinn Buckner had an angle with MJ. Maybe Quinn Buckner's angle might have been with. Understand, one of MJ's boys, and he did a great job in this documentary because you guys were still two guys that did not interview, but they were in the documentary indirectly because of their on the court. But two of his best boys, Charles Oakley, Ron Harper. These are my cigar boys. Them is dudes, years. Anybody that know him off the court. Am I lying, Alan?
Absolutely true.
So that's what. By not interviewing them, you protect them. They don't know your whole circle like that.
And notice what I said. I didn't say I said Michael Jordan don't go to the restroom without those other two. He go to the restroom without them. Those two guys you just met. These other two people I'm telling you about, you remember I told you he was at his house moving his stuff. These are the people that was in his house when he was moving his stuff. Don't you know how intimate that is when you're at home moving your stuff? You don't let everybody in there watching your stuff. So those are his brain trusts. And matter of fact, Jimmy, I heard that Spike Lee wanted to direct this thing. But guess what? Esteve Portnoy and Curtis Polk pushed Jason Hurd.
His dude.
That's all I'm saying.
His dude.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm just telling you, that's why I keep telling y'all, when we give our power away, other people will use that power to employ their people, not ours. Nothing against Michael. Y'all got to understand. To our next generation who get put in their self, just understand. When people, when you give your power away and allow other people to have, think about it. Michael didn't want to do this thing, man. Y'all don't understand. It took him 20 years. It took him 20 years to do it. And Estee and Curtis Polk kept plugging him, and then they told Jason, look here, man. He gonna be at this restaurant. He gonna be at this hotel. You're gonna have one shot to shoot the shot. We done already put you in there. You got to sell it. And the young man went in there and sold it. So it's I'm just Jimmy. All I'm saying is, when we are in positions of power, you know, it's just we got to start being like Robert Smith. And I know we about to go. Let me tell y'all something. Everybody on this show, go look up, because I put it on, I got it on Chop Shop, but go look up Robert F. Smith and his interview that he did with Don Lemon and Van Jones. That's some more homework y'all do. You got to go listen to this interview about the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, that a lot of us didn't get. I never forget, Jimmy, in the middle of the night, one night, on a Sunday night, I text Jimmy and said, Jimmy, call this number so you can get in the front line so we can be ahead of this PPP and get our funds. A lot of black people didn't get their funds, Jimmy, the first wave. Magic Johnson, Jimmy, even coming, he just put $100 million of his money into the PP. Let me tell y'all something. That's the kind of influence that we want to have and put our these athletes. Y'all, let me tell you something. Robert Smith is good, but these athletes we got, these black athletes, are more powerful. They're so powerful. If they ever understand how much power they have, oh my God, these people better watch out. But Jimmy, what else you got?
Yeah, I want to give you guys some news, of course, when we get ready. In about 7 minutes, we'll be joined by the panel. We will start the conversation, if you're tuned into the Chop Shop now, and that is with a quartet of facility owners or directors around the area, and will share their thoughts about their imposed modifications as a result of COVID-19, as well as a lot of other stuff. We're going to have a great convo with these four gentlemen. That's going to be coming up in about 7 minutes. Meanwhile, I want to give you guys some news in case you have not heard. Let me pull this. I have the press release in my phone, and unfortunately, I put it like that, unfortunately, Prairie View A&M football team has been deemed ineligible for postseason for the upcoming football term. Prairie View A&M football. This is a result, and I read the letter that was sent out that I got in my email box. This penalty comes from falling below the required academic benchmark set for an institution's academic performance rate. That's the APR in a nutshell. And Prairie View, as a result, once again, no postseason for the football. And understand, if you put it in layman's terms, all NCAA sports guys are required to maintain a certain GPA. And if you go and you fall below that threshold, then you could face penalties as a result of the academic performance rate. So now, what happens now? If any player of Prairie View that's a senior, they may transfer anywhere they wish outside of the conference. That's the key. Without sitting out. So that means there's a 12th grade, if there's a senior, starter, whatever. Understand now. This is a chance and some kids will vote. You know why? Because and some may not. Because where you may go to a program and you're not sure if they're going to have football this term coming up. And if you stay, then that could be a red shirt year, or you can get the hell on out and go on and still graduate. But this the thing that's unique, that if all players can transfer, all seniors can transfer without penalty. So I just want to let you guys know about that Prairie View A&M, And the thing is, we talked with one of the coaches last fall, and they told us that the president they saw this coming. There's a possibility. As a result, the president stipulated that, I know in basketball, a player couldn't have less than a 2.8. Now the NCAA's minimum requirement is a 2.3, but she wanted a 2.8 because they wanted everybody to even get in there. That was their house rule. But it's still, as a result, it sucks. But at the same time, Prairie View, they had a chance to win this conference this year. That's the thing. Had a chance to win the conference. That's news. What else we got there, Hatter? How about a shout over at UCLA for their hiring Martin Jarmon, right? The first Black athletic director in the history of UCLA. How about that? And this young man is less than 40 years old. First of all, we applaud Black ADs, but to get one at a Power 5 school, which he just left a Power 5. He was the youngest ever, the youngest active to be hired at a Power 5. He was at Boston College back in 2017. He was 37 years old. So that means he'll be turning 40 this year. And that is Martin Jarmon. So he gets to run UCLA. Remember, USC had a Black AD a couple of years back when they had Lynn Swan, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think Lynn Swan was the AD over there. Mm-hmm. And I also want to give you guys my funny story, but not really funny. And I guess we can probably save it for Women Rock Wednesday. I probably can save this one. And that is, I'll give you guys a chance to go and dig it up yourself.
Okay, well, I got something I want to go before these guys come on.
Yeah, and that's the Kentucky cheerleading scandal.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah. Hey, I see why them guys want to go to Kentucky, though. But we'll save that for Wednesday.
No, that'll give Hal a chance to go pull some pictures up. That's what you're going to do, Hal. You're going to pull some pictures up.
Hey, let me tell you. Oh, Mike Garrett, Jimmy, thank you, for USC. Mike Garrett was from USC, was the athletic director at USC. Thank you. I didn't follow it. Thank you. You know who he is. I got somebody that corrects everything that we do on this show. We got a director, Mike Garrett.
What was Lynn Swan there?
He was there too.
Oh, so okay, they had more than one. Okay.
Yeah. But Jimmy, I saw some. I heard, Charles Barkley said something, and I just he was in an interview with some golfers, and they just talking. He was talking about, he said in 1996, Olympics sucked to him because he happened to be on the 1992 and the 1996. He came in he said those guys were complaining about playing time and wanting to start. He said it was terrible. I mean, the guys, so y'all do me a favor, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Go look at the roster for the 1996, and I'm going to call Penny because he was on that team, the 1996, and I want to know, because I meant to call him last night, and then, Jimmy, guess why Michael Jordan got mad at him? They don't speak for real. He was on the show, and he said Michael got mad because he told him, Michael, you're not going to have no success with this team because you always hiring your kiss-ass friends. Not your friends who company your kiss behind friends. He said Michael texted him that day for an hour or 3 hours straight calling him all kind of MFs and whatever, and ain't never spoke to him again. I didn't know it went down like that, man. And then Kobe did the same thing. If y'all remember, one time Kobe wasn't shooting some game. Kobe was mad and got to whining and wasn't shooting the ball or something. I don't remember that game. But he got mad at Barkley, and he was cussing Barkley out by text. And Barkley said, I kept trying to call him so I can explain. He said he would never answer the phone. And I said, wow, dude, in this business, y'all got to understand, even when Jimmy and I, sometimes if we give you facts, that's not we ain't trying to criticize you with the facts. We just giving facts. And then I learned something about being a star, because the first thing they always talk about Barkley is, Jimmy, is Barkley, you didn't win a ring. But guess what, Jimmy? They don't say that about Kevin Cato. They don't say that. They don't say that about these other guys. Push your phone on mute. Damn.
Mute is.
Lord have mercy.
That one.
Man, we got to take a pause. We had some people come into the call wrong. I got to do it all over again because he cut Jimmy and him out. You don't have to call us. Just join into the call, okay? You don't have to call us. Okay, thank you. Oh, my God. Hey, y'all, hold on. Let me call everybody again. Everybody can come in now. Don't call. Just pop in the screen. Jimmy, you and your people. Now we're just waiting on everybody.
We're still on there?
Yeah, we're still on there. You back on now, Jimmy.
Okay, good, great. Now, of course, guys, it is that time, and want to inform you and remind you that it is the time we are about to engage in one heck of a conversation, and which will present to you guys. Can you try to cut your
put
feedback?
It on mute,
Eric. Cut your mute down.
Put it on mute. Everybody, okay, keep going, Jimmy.
Yes.
Okay.
And once again, we're enjoying now. We have 3 of the 4. We're waiting on the 4th one to come on in. Just a second, he'll pop on up shortly. And that is in Houston, guys. Well, first, let me start and give you guys some news that's going outside of the state and come on back in. Over the weekend, the Orange County Convention Center announced, and in conjunction with the AAU, announced that the National Volleyball Championships has been, the date has been rescheduled to July the 14th, mid-July. Now, in doing so, they cited a lot of the information, waiting on some data from the CDC and, of course, the Global Bjork Advisory Council and some other stuff. But anyway, this event last year had 2,900 teams. It is boasted as the largest event in the world. It's a volleyball event, and it takes place at the Orange County Convention Center, which is the second largest convention center in all of North America. And so understand something. This event, by it pushing forward, this is volleyball. And I'll always tell you guys, pay attention. Pay attention to the energy. It seems like when certain people say they're going to open their doors, then you have a problem. But when other people say they're going to open their doors, ain't no problem. That's a great thing they're doing. And so now, of course, everybody's going to have precautions. Everybody's going to have things and modifications in place. But we want to do is bring it back and talk about what's happening right here in Texas, where we are based, and specifically in Houston. So joining me, of course, in coming up in just a second, and Hatter's going to, when he's putting together some loose wires right now. But when he comes in, we're going to be joined by a quartet of gentlemen. We're going to be joined by Terrell Henderson from Fallbrook, Mark Irabor Jr. of the MI3 Center, Eric Belt of Harvest Time, and Jerry Levy from the gym, which is located in Humble, which is adjacent to Houston, about 5 miles from Bush Intercontinental Airport. And once again, that conversation, if you just tune in, we're going to be joined shortly, as soon as Hatter comes back into the set and let us know.
I gotcha. Watch what I say. Listen.
So we're going to get right into this right now. And what we'll do is, as I introduce them, how do you bring them on in? Once again, we have Terrell Henderson with Fallbrook. We have Mark Irabor Jr. with the MI3 Center, Eric Belt from Harvest Time, and of course, Jerry Levy from the gym in Humble, Texas, located about 5 miles from Bush Intercontinental Airport. Join us on the Chop Shop. Welcome to the Chop Shop today, gentlemen. How's everything going? Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just cut the volume down on them. They're watching a separate device. Just cut the volume down. That's all right now. And we'll go with the elder, of course, and the eldest would be Jerry. Tell them, introduce yourself, Jerry, and let them know a little bit about you.
I'm Jerry Levy, owner of the gym. We built the gym 15 years ago now. I can't hardly believe it's been that long since we've had all this fun. Obviously, I think we were the first basketball-oriented, privately owned facility built in the Houston area. You know, what can I tell you? I'm the elder statesman, I guess, in this group, you know, going forward from there. Also, pride myself on you know, try to, you know, look at statistics and financial controls and all that sort of thing, and also try to pride myself in doing the right thing. Okay, we built this gym initially for kids, and it is still 99.9% occupied by kids from 5 to, you know, 17, 18 years old. Obviously heavily oriented, especially at this time of the year, for kids that are in high school and hopefully going on to college. A little bit of training going on with a couple of pros coming in here now who have no place to go. We've had a couple in here this morning, as a matter of fact, because we officially opened today with some very strict protocols. Everyone coming into the gym, including kids that are maybe doing a little training or something like that, have to wear masks when they come in. They have to sanitize their hands when they come in. Their balls, if they bring in balls, they got to sanitize their balls. They got to sign a waiver when they come in, recognizing the fact that we can't control the COVID-19 risk. We're doing everything we possibly can. and we got a whole list of protocols. I think is up on our website now, and I don't want to go over those in detail. We are planning on, depending on what the governor says this afternoon, having a little showcase event, a 2-game.
Just hold that thought, Jerry.
Okay, I'll hold that thought.
Wow.
I do want to say one other.
Jerry, you fit, yeah, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm a marketing guy too. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah. Well, and guess
I'm a
what?
marketing guy.
And Jimmy is a good interrupter. Now let's go, Jimmy.
But let me tell you something about some statistics, okay? And everybody talks about being statistic driven, except those that don't want to listen to statistics, you know. And then they come up with some other things. But it doesn't make any difference if you're, you know, how political you are, right, left, or anything else. The statistics are the statistics, okay? These are produced by actually 2 different organizations, okay? And I'm going to tell you about the statistics about kids. Okay?
Hold on,
Kids
Jerry, hold on a second.
Okay.
Hey, Jimmy, are we? Don't you? Aren't you? We're gonna bring everybody else in, and are we gonna do it like that? How we? Because it's new. How we gonna do this?
We
Y'all can do it the way y'all want to do it, man. I'm learning right now.
Because Jimmy, you got to be the moderator. Because right now we got to give every guy a chance. I know we ain't used to doing this now, but we got to give everybody a chance. Everybody a chance because it seems. And bless his little heart, Jerry giving us great information. But I want this. We want to hear from everybody. We got a panel on here, and me and you gonna step back. But I want to hear from Coach Henderson. Coach Henderson, Coach Henderson, what you have, and we'll get back to you, Jerry. Coach Henderson,
Okay.
what do you got to have? Let's introduce everybody and talk. Let them give their soliloquy first. Let's go.
Get that timer ready, and then we'll improvise this thing and put the time on there, and everybody get there, and we go. But anyway, around the horn, next in line, of course, is Terrell Henderson. And Terrell, tell us about yourself, what facility you represent.
How y'all doing today?
You're doing great,
Can y'all
Coach.
hear me? All right, good. So we are kind of following the guidelines, same as everyone else. And that today's our official opening day as far as the governor is concerned. I'm looking at the minimum standard health protocols that's posted on the CDC website. And, you know, we here at Fallbrook, you know, we're more community-based, relationship-based, small operation. So we're kind of staying with the guidelines of our before and after school program and the church. Church hasn't officially reopened due to some of the things that's out there in the media that's happened. So we're kind of in our phase 1, which is a small incremental process. We don't want to get too far out there too fast. But, you know, God has been kind to us, so we're going to just be patient and try and learn from you guys every day, as well as, you know, from the state regulations and guidelines. But we've been, our main focus has been Zoom training during the course of the shutdown with Spring ISD, as well as our client base. We hadn't been in the gym with anyone with contact clients since they told us to shut down. So, you know, I was looking forward to this meeting to learn something. Okay. I've got one of my staff here today, Coach Peterson, so we can sit down and talk about how we're going to re-implement according to what everybody else is doing, and just be patient and very meticulous, because the big thing is, you know, these kids' safety as well as the parents.
Okay, Mark.
Now, yeah, let's go next.
I got you. Mark, let's go.
Okay, well, how you guys doing? Mark Dearborn from MI3 Center. Pretty much kind of what they said. The only biggest difference that we're doing is I'm sure, you know, I've just kind of been blessed to have women in my family that have been nurses and worked in ICUs. So one thing the hospitals have been using is called a negative air machine, or air scrubber, if you will. You can kind of rent them from Sunbelt or you can rent them from a lot of places that will rent us like lifts. Guys, a lot of us know we got to rent lifts once in a while. That same company can rent out an air scrubber to you. And what it basically does is when we close down for operations, we can stick it in a room. It kind of like sucks all the oxygen out, supposed to clean the air out. Same process as when they want to sterilize the ICU. So I would just say kind of it's called a negative air machine. So kind of Google that, look up that. We'll be using that nightly. On top of everything we said we're doing, as far as wiping everything down, doing all the basics of, what most of us have been doing. But we figured that would be another option to help us clean the air. Because of course you can clean the surface all you want, but when you leave, all that stuff kind of settles to the floor. We all, as Jim mentioned, we come in, there's dust from the floor. So that gives us another option. I've seen some as low as renting them from between $40 to $60 a day. So even if you want to do it on every other day or just tournament basis, it's another way to kind of combat things, even outside of COVID, like even flu, anything else that somebody may bring up to you guys. That might be a way for you to clean the air and say, hey, look, we're doing this actually clean the air. When they go see the science behind it, they go see the mechanics behind it. They'll understand why people like John Deere and Carrier produce these items. But I will say that right now, if you guys go ahead and try to order one, you will be on a waiting list. All the hospitals come before us, almost across the country. So we put ourselves on a waiting list, and that's just waiting list to find out a price. God knows what that will be next year or whenever we get there. So for now, we'll be renting them from places like Home Depot, John Deere, and things like that. So that's just another level of something we're doing on top of what everybody's been saying as far as washing hands, sanitizing, wiping down the surfaces.
Okay,
now we got Eric Belt from Harvest Time. Tell us about what you guys got going on over there so far. Cut your mute off. Cut your mute
No,
off.
you good. I did the same thing. You all right. Just hit mute.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. I did the same thing.
All
Yeah.
right, good. I was just being patient. So here we go. Good afternoon. So what we're doing that's not too much different from everyone. I guess the biggest points were, one, we're on a maintenance cleaning program now where we have a professional cleaning company that will come in and they will put out chemical that kind of keeps, it's told that it'll last about every 3 weeks. And so we're on a maintenance program that we've signed up for a contract for the next year and a half. The other thing that we are looking into, I just got word from a pastor this morning that apparently with new technology, there are these apparatuses that you can place on air conditioning units that as the AC is flowing, it's purifying the air. So I'm going to get more information about that, but our official opening date won't be until June 1st. We're going to do all that we can to just make sure that outside of being compliant, we just want to hear what the mayor has to say and then take all the extra precautions that we can, and we'll continue to make any updates that we can along with that process.
Just want to go correct. I want to make sure I got this right. June the 1st is the Harvest Time. You're going to be opening up. What will you be doing in June the 1st?
So we will be going to rentals, but the biggest thing is keeping it at 25% capacity with the information that we've gotten. So beyond that, that will be the biggest opening, and then meeting the CDC guidelines, but that'll be June 1st. And we'll do rentals for practice or even events, and we're going to have measures in place to keep it at 25% capacity.
Now, Coach Henderson, I wanted to make sure I got it right. I'm making notes. I believe it not. I'm actually taking notes while you guys are talking. And the Fallbrook, you guys have yet to open your doors in the public capacity, right?
The only thing we've done is have food pantries for our school, for Fallbrook Academy, as well as for the community, which is an outside-based operation as far as people coming in the building other than the staff. The CDC put guidelines together for our staff and workers, as well as for people coming in the building. So we hadn't actually had clients in the building, but when we do open up on Wednesday, we will take basically 2 courts, which is 6 baskets in the main gym, and have 1 kid per basket, 1 parent per session, and the whole questionnaire, release forms, washing hands, social distancing, which is it's about 15 to 20 feet. We figure if a ball is being retrieved. So that's going to be our phase 1. We're just going to try and make sure that our staff is trained to manage not only the athletes, but the parents, the parking, coming in the building with a mask. There's just so many layers to this thing that if you start training early, and that's what we do here at Fallbrook Church with our staff, it's going to be easy to implement as you go down, through your site workers as security and cleaning staff. The cleaning staff and our administrative staff is on campus. So Wednesday when we open, we'll just have 6 kids in the gym, 1 per basket, and basically start doing our training in phase 1. The next part of phase 1 will be having practices, but our coaches and parents and kids will have to go through webinars for the whole social distancing guidelines. Because the biggest thing is we're going to have to manage these people. We're going to have people who want to come in without a mask, and have people that's going to try and stand up on each other talking. You have to staff up, be prepared to manage and navigate people from in the door to out of the door. So we're going to be patient. We're phase 1, May 20th, and then we'll go to phase 2 in 7 to 10 days.
Now, Jerry, you was about to introduce some statistics that you were going to provide us with, and what do you have those available? Give us those statistics, and also tell us when the gym is going to open their doors with their first event. Jerry, you have to probably reverse the phone.
Am I back on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Y'all can hear you. We can't see you.
We can't see you though.
You can't see me now. Okay.
Yeah,
You just reverse the phone. You've got the phone reversed the wrong way.
There we go.
There you go.
Hey, listen.
That's all right, Jerry. Hey.
Your assistant must didn't come to work today.
No, leave Jerry alone, man. Come on.
Who says when you get old you still can't learn new things?
Jerry, I'm over here muting my own self, and I do this every day. So I understand what y'all going to. So what was your question, Jimmy?
Tell us, you were about to introduce us with some stats. Give us, do you mind sharing those statistics with us at this time? And also, you mentioned the governor. You mentioned the governor is expected to make an announcement today. Can you share what is anticipated that the governor could possibly entail?
Well, anticipation is kind of a funny thing when you start anticipating what the politicians are going to do. But I'm hoping, let's put it that way, we think that he's going to open up, daycares with certain restrictions. Obviously, churches perhaps with little greater things. But the focus is gyms, sports facilities like ours and all of ours, and daycares. Of course, some of you guys have daycare type of things going on. Of course, the only thing we do from that standpoint is have camps, which sometimes act as daycares, as we all know. But getting to the statistics thing, and these are very interesting. So, whatever you hear on CNN or Fox or any of the other kind of BS that they seem to put out there and everything else, these are real statistics from 2 different sources. One being the government source, and if you guys send me, I'll give you that website address. We just picked this stuff up this morning off of it. And also a organization or a company site called worldodometers.info, and they have been hired to gather statistics both worldwide and in the U.S. So I want to tell you a statistic about New York, the state of New York, okay? As of May the 13th, okay, and I'm only going to give you a statistic for 0 to 17-year-olds, okay? We're not going to get into the age groups, and we all know that the people like me are most susceptible and all that kind of stuff. But in the 0 to 17 years old, as of May the 13th, okay, there were 9 deaths in New York, okay? That's a total accumulation. That's not, that week. 9 deaths in the state of New York. 6 of those deaths had underlying conditions, and 3 were without underlying conditions that were identifiable, okay? That's in the whole state of New York in 0 to 17-year-old things, okay? Now, another statistic from the government thing, as of May 9th. So there's obviously different dates. That was May 13th. This is May 9th. In the entire United States, there were 13 kids hospitalized due to COVID-19 between the ages of 5 and 17. United States, okay? And another thing, kids with pre-existing conditions that are in that classification, 60% were classified as obese. They suffered from obesity, okay? The same thing in the other study too, okay? So, you start thinking, who do we really need to be worrying about and help, okay? And are we hurting these kids that are in our age bracket, the kids that we service? Are we hurting them by being closed up entirely? And guess what's going to happen when they don't have activity? They're going to be more obese. So that's the only thing I want to say about the statistics right now. I can rattle off a whole tons of other statistics, hospitalizations in our zip code, very low hospitalizations. The hospitals are running less than 50% occupancy. And that's not only our area, but almost the entire Houston area. Okay, so hey, we got to, we're servicing the kids. That doesn't mean that we can't still be extra cautious about all the things that we do. One other thing I wanted to add is we sanitize the floors. What's the name of the stuff that we use again? Mineral spirits, which is an alcohol-based thing. And it's actually recommended by, we have wood floors. I think you all have wood floors too and everything else. It's recommended by the manufacturer for a cleaning agent. And also, what does that do? It's alcohol-based. It cleans up anything that might be on the floors too. So I like the idea of that negative air thing and some other type of things that we can possibly do.
So when are you opening? When are you having an event? Your first event. When are you opening your doors at the gym?
I'm going to get to. We've opened the doors today officially. We've had a couple of practices in here. As I said, everyone's got to come in with a mask on. When they're practicing, they don't. We're trying to limit the number of players per basket to 3 if possible. You can't totally monitor that sometimes, but they are training sessions. So, they're going through shooting drills, dribbling, and all that sort of thing. And sanitizing the balls and all that. Limiting the bathrooms to 2 people per bathroom, okay? We're asking people to, adhere to that. We can monitor it a little bit, but the signs are up and everything else. We got the sanitizers before every court. So when you walk in the court, not only when you walk in the gym itself, but when you walk in each court, there's sanitizers that people can use. And of course, then on the scorers' benches and players' benches. We've separated the bleachers, and for this Saturday, we're trying to do a showcase event for 16s and 17s primarily.
So long. When did you say?
No,
When?
This Saturday. As long as the governor says it's okay to do it, or doesn't say, let's put it the other way around, if he doesn't say we can't do it, we're planning on doing this. Now we've got some extreme protocols in place for each team that comes in. They are limited to one parent per child. Okay. When they enter the facility, obviously they come in, but we've staggered we're staggering the things, assuming this goes off. Okay. We're staggering the start of the games. So not everybody's going to be congregating and everything else. And we're telling people, the coaches have to tell the parents, you can't come in until 10 minutes before game time. Okay. The benches have been set up and the bleachers have been set up so that there is separation on the bleachers. We're only using the first and third row, and they are staggered and they are separation so that a head-to-head basis, there's at least 6 feet of separation between any person sitting on the bleachers. Okay, so keep in mind there will only be 24 people.
Jerry, but that stuff can be on. Probably be best to post that on your website,
right?
So we try to get the other conversation from the other guys and see what what they're doing. And Mark, I want to ask you. You guys have started already opening your doors, but only on a limited 1 day a week or something like that last week.
Yeah, we're open now. So like I see people in the comments talking about they exited in 1960. They can go ahead and we doing an open gym as we speak. The big thing for us was you guys kind of know my front desk is kind of run by my auntie and my grandma. So for us to even open up, I had to make them feel comfortable for even walking in there. Like my grandma was already saying, my sons haven't even been in the gym, since March 16th. So, it's more proving to her that I know what I can do as far as keeping people safe as much as possible to get her back in there feeling comfortable, because as you guys know, there's a lot of people. I'm not opening the doors unless they feel comfortable to work there. And a lot of people that work there end up being in those certain categories where, they were susceptible to the sickness. So, of course, making sure my grandma felt comfortable, making sure she felt okay with us opening up today, bringing her great grandbabies up there. For me, that was important. So, the whole plan we did, like I said, I spent the past couple of weeks working with the city. Whether the governor tells us to close, open up, I don't know what the governor's going to say. I know we got the blessing from the mayor's office to keep moving on in the slow process that we've been doing. We won't actually be doing a tournament probably for another 2 to 3 weeks, but we will be having open gym starting today. Working on those numbers because of the whole 25% capacity is a little different for me, whereas 25% of my capacity is 275 people. So I can easily say, let me do that, but it's kind of disrespectful to what's going on, kind of disrespectful to the city and trying to get things right. So we kind of limit ourselves a little more. We might go 10%. We're looking at like 100 people for tournaments. I know I've talked with you about your plans for your event. Each individual director will have their own thing they want to do. But as far as us, we're letting guys in the gym. We're leaving it at about 25 per court right now. We're only operating 4 of our courts right now for open gym. All the courts that have the 6 rooms around, so we're letting guys kind of do that. But open gymmers know that once they walk into our facility, just like teams that come for practice or tournaments, they'll be going out a different set of doors, which will show them when they walk in. Just trying to keep that sweat from coming back into the front that helps us keep that one area. If that one area is going to be an area that's kind of having some issues, we're going to do our best with that area. But we also do it before and after school care. And we have a lot of kids from the spring that we deal with. So that's another part, because we have that, we have all the kids on the other side. We try to keep them protected. Let the parents know that we're making sure that there's no cross sections as far as players going where our students and our summer campers will be. But like I recommend everybody else, man, not just the other guys on here, but everybody who has their own business in the city. Just remember that the politicians work for y'all. I learned that real quick. So when you send them stuff and you send them plans and they don't respond, send it to somebody else in the office. Somebody got to respond. They work for us. So that's been my biggest crutch is staying ever since, well, Jim knows about the email that came out. Ever since then, I've been working with them almost on an every other day basis. Just trying to let them understand that we're going to do what we can and we never will step on that. But, other than that, I think we feel comfortable going with regular open gym kids coming in 5-on-5 ball. I think that we've kind of proved that we can keep it clean in there. We've had a couple guys that we respect in the game show up last Wednesday morning for a private run, and I think they felt comfortable coming in, feeling clean, and all those good things. So that's all it's about, just making sure that everybody feels like you're doing the right thing. I know that we all can't be perfect, but just do everything you guys can. We're all working together. I want all y'all to think about that. I'm always here as far as working with everybody. And of course, I think we all should sit down as far as outside of this call. I think it's the first time we've all been on a call together.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially being on the north side of Houston, Humble area through Cypress, that we need to do this a little bit more as far as doing things for the city. There's a lot of things that the city needs. We're the fourth largest city in the country. There's events that need to be had here, and 15 courts between all of us, man, doesn't sound too bad when you're talking to the big boys about bringing events down. So, sometimes maybe if we can start doing that, I'd be open to that. Even once a month, us sitting down, chopping it up, talking about what we can help and what we can do, and we can always figure out how to split that down and do it the real way and make sure that everybody feels comfortable with what's going on. But as long as the kids get the benefit from more big events coming down to the city, that's all I care about right now.
Now, Eric, you are over at Harvest Time. You guys, you mentioned that June the 1st is when your open day.
Yes, sir.
So, what are you expecting from as far as the events that were postponed, that were canceled, or whatnot that you had on the books? What are you expecting? Are you expecting a surge? Or are you expecting a decrease? Are you expecting your prices, your rates to remain the same? Or will they decrease because of all of the implementations that you guys are doing? That's going to take somebody to perform those tasks, such as somebody has to go and refill the sanitizers. Somebody has to go and ensure that the teams are going out the side door or coming in the other door. Would that be relayed to the event director, or would it be a collaborated effort? And once again, I asked you, how would that go as far as the rates? Because that's more expensive for the people to occupy your premises.
Hold on a second. Eric, before you answer that question,
Yes, sir.
somebody on this feed has the show on at the same time. You got to turn the show down in the background. We're getting background feed from, if you got the show on another device, just turn it on, put it on mute. Now proceed, Eric.
All right. So, yeah, I think that was a great question. I think the biggest thing Henderson spoke on earlier is the business that we're in first starts with relationships. And so in reality, there are definitely some big adjustments that will have to be made on the economic standpoint when it comes to pricing. But there are certain relationships that you'll have with certain individuals, and we're all being affected by this. So while in the perfect world, you would love to sit down with everyone and say, hey, we're doing this. I think it starts by just giving quality, making sure that if lives matter, making that a priority so people feel safe. And then as we're moving and progressing, we can always renegotiate contracts. We can always figure out how to move forward. One thing that I've learned in order to stay relevant in this industry is not about penny pinching dollars out of the guys that you've been working with for 5, 10, 20 years. And so I think they will gladly come back and even pay more if there's a reasonable conversation and a reasonable way of doing that. So I would say for sure at some point that may not hit June 1st, but I think that there is an expectation that with greater service and still a large demand that accommodations have to be made on both parties. So I know we're prepared to have those conversations, but again, I don't think conversations are difficult when you do have genuine relationships. It's probably working with guys that you're not so close to and so connected to all the time. Most of the guys that I work with, my calendar is already full, and we've already had a lot of behind the scenes conversations. I think right now it's working together during 2020 and having a conversation to restructure 2021. And I think that's the reasonable expectation.
And Mr. Henderson, over at Harvest Time, what are you guys doing? One of the questions now I'm going to
Fallbrook, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, I'm tripping. I'm
That's
sorry,
right.
Fallbrook. And I'm just talking about Eric at Harvest Time. Now, Coach Henderson, I'm going there and I'm going to toss a lot of the questions that people are posting in the Boom Boom Room for you guys and questions that people may have. And so we can address some of their questions and our concerns. So we'll toss around on. First, we'll start with you, Henderson. What are you guys doing? How is the insurance being affected for event directors as well as you guys as a result of the COVID-19? Do you guys have an extra waiver, or how you plan to approach that?
That's a good question, Jimmy. First of all, everyone probably has to do the same thing I do, which is do capacity numbers on your insurance. And our company, FOI, which is East Coast company, did contact us when we did the shutdown. Numbers are lower this year, but they are requiring a waiver. Now, again, I'm trying to learn. I've never been on this journey before. So one of the things I was hearing about tournaments and guys scrimmaging, I'm confused on the guidelines for contact sports as of today. Now, I hadn't seen an NFL practice, or NBA practice, or baseball practice where there's been contact sports. So that's one of the insurance questions that's coming about right now with this COVID-19 spread. And I'm just not clear. That's why I'm being patient. I don't know what the governor's identified as a workout or exercise as far as a contact sport. For us, with the church, there is no contact. So that guideline doesn't have to be met. We're using hand signals to wave and things like that we've implemented as a courtesy instead of handshakes or hugs. And then, with our child care before and after school program, that's one of our main concerns is kids are going to be kids at the younger ages. They're going to play, they're going to touch, they're going to grab, they're going to have runny noses, same as adults are going to cough. So the whole contact thing right now for me is the biggest hurdle in reopening. That's why we're reopening just with one person per basket and using the maximum amount of time during the course of the day to turn the hours over. But that's a good question about the insurance, because they want to know if you're having contact sports, because that's a concern of theirs right now.
You know what? I'm so Jimmy, I just want to add a little bit, because on our show we advertise Above All Sports advertise on this show, and I remember Brian Jolivet was telling me about he is hiring extra folks to make sure his events are flawless. And any one of y'all can chime in. I mean, I don't know if other event operators but I remember he brought that to my attention. Because he was holding off about, should I do an event? When should I do an event? When should I do an event? Because he wanted to make sure safety is paramount. So y'all can just chime in. Anybody can chime in. And we're gonna be like.
I say this about the insurance. I know, we're going through the same issues with the insurance as far as they want to know numbers. But I said, for example, I think I've talked to Jim about that privately, about our numbers a little different. So I know insurance has kind of came to us about what we've told them that, We've went through the city. The city has approved our method of what we would do for games. We've added some notes that Jim shared with us last Wednesday we did a private workout with some pro and college guys to just kind of simulate how we would structure a team game. And even with the way we separated it with the players being separate, they told us we didn't even have to do that. They said that even on one bench, as long as we're cleaning the bench after, we didn't have to, go throw out 15 chairs or so to separate them. So that helps us as far as bringing other people in. I would say the biggest part is with the insurance is, our insurance company has told us things about lowering numbers. And for us, the biggest thing for me has always been about our 77090 area code. A lot of our kids off Ella are dealing with a whole bunch of nonsense that they need to be in the gym. They need to be somewhere else. So we have already talked with them about doing what we need to do to match up numbers and get things straight and right. So we've added waivers that talk about viral infections, things like that. But we've also told our insurance that I understand that what you're going through as a company, everybody's kind of at a loss as going through another recession. And with them losing money, we know that their numbers are going to go down. So we just got to step up and fill that gap as far as our end, and just kind of pray and hope that we do things the right way, and that the ways that we've been going through different nurses and the city works out for us, and hopefully we can keep people safe. I tell people that, kind of during the midst of the beginning of COVID, it's no secret, we had 2 events that we brought kids from all across the country, kids from the West Coast, East Coast, South. We had teams from Puerto Rico, and nobody from those teams or anything is reported sick. I've kept up with a lot of those guys, and everybody's been fine. I think it's just like we said, it's all about cleanliness, doing the thing that our mama taught us growing up, just washing your hands, using soap, cleaning stuff. Don't just, you see a kid spit on the court, tell them to clean it up themselves. We don't work for these kids, to be honest. So like kids know when they come to my gym that they self-police themselves a lot of time. You spit on my court, you're going to clean it up yourself. You do certain things, you're going to clean it up yourself. I don't work for you. We got guys that work here, but you're going to respect them the same way you respect me. So that kind of helps when you have kids in there that respect what you got going on. They're able to teach other kids kind of the way or the, whatever it is, the environment you're trying to set up. And, once you get with your directors and these tournament guys coming in, you tell them, hey, this was going to be, it's pretty simple. A lot of guys, they just want to keep kids safe. But the insurance side will be tough for everybody for the next 2 to 3 years. There's guys that have bigger facilities than us, convention centers, and we're talking with them, and they're having the same issues as us. So it just comes down to, we're going to see in the next couple of years about, this business will change. For me, it's always been about my kids and about other kids. My kids are 9 and 7, so they got another 10, 12 years to go through MI3. So we plan on being around for a long time. So we got to kind of roll with the punches and evolve as things evolve. And I think doing that, and I think we all will stay on top of that. But just keep working with the city, guys. Don't. If you got a question, hit the city up. They're gonna hit you back. Trust me. Believe me.
Can I step in here about the question that Coach Henderson had about the insurance? Most of you may or may not know my background was commercial insurance and risk management for over 50 years. Okay, and I still follow what's going on in the insurance industry and risk management industry. From a standpoint of virtually everybody's liability policy, it has an exclusion in there for just this thing that we're talking about, this nasty COVID thing. Now that doesn't mean it's not being challenged, okay, by some lawyers and things like that. I'm not going to rely on the challenge, and I'm going to say that that from a insurance professional and risk management professional standpoint, we are all got exclusions in our policy. But our policies from a liability standpoint are usually based upon 2 things: receipts and numbers of kids in various types of programs, whether they be contact programs or not. Basketball so far has not been considered a contact sport, although we all know it really is, at least on the liability insurances that I have looked at in the past couple of years. But our our revenues are going to be down dramatically. All of ours are going to be down. Our numbers are going to be down. I would anticipate that in some cases we can get reductions. Some of us have minimum premiums on that stuff. I wouldn't rely on insurance to be a protective device for all of us. So what can we do going forward? And that is, some sort of waiver is going to help us. We are posting waivers similar to what you see on a ticket when you go to the baseball game, basketball game, and stuff. You're assuming the person coming in is assuming responsibility. Okay, we are saying we are doing everything we can on the COVID thing, but who knows where somebody could catch this, and you are waiving any responsibility to the gym by entering our facility. You don't want to do that, don't come in. Now, is that a foolproof 100% protection for you? No, nothing is 100% protection for you, but it is a first line of defense. I recommend that all of you do it. We're doing it. We've got them posted already. We'll be doing handouts when the assuming our event comes off this Saturday, which is kind of a test run for us. It's going to be very limited in terms of numbers of teams that we're allowing to play, because we need to run through the facilities as Mark did before and see how this thing flows. We think it's going to flow. We've walked through some things and in that regard. So we think it's going to flow. Our first real tournament looks like it's going to fly is the June Jam on the first weekend in June. I think you all probably have tournaments scheduled, probably about that time too, and everything else. So we're hopefully that's going to go. In terms of costs and stuff, we have to eventually get back to what what we have as a model for our pricing. We have to get back to that. We do understand from a tournament standpoint that there will be reduced numbers